Hey everyone! Welcome back to Fluent English Podcast, your go-to place for learning English in a fun and natural way.
Hi friends, I'm Alex, and I'm super excited to be here with you today.
In today's episode, we're going to explore 10 phrasal verbs you must know to sound more fluent and natural in English.
And as always, if you enjoy this lesson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let's dive in.
Hey, guess what? Yesterday, I ran into my old friend Sarah at the coffee shop.
Wow, that's so cool. Did you guys catch up?
Yes, we had a long chat about work and life. She said she had to look up some information for her new project.
Did she come across anything interesting while searching?
Yes, she found a really helpful article about time management. She also mentioned that her manager will take over a new project next week, so she needs to set up a meeting to discuss it.
Sounds challenging. Did you tell her not to give up?
Of course! Later, we picked up some great tips from an online workshop. Luckily, we really got along well while sharing ideas.
That's awesome, but didn't something get called off?
Yes, one of her weekend plans got called off, so we had to bring up alternative ideas. All right, before we move on, here's a quick challenge. How many phrasal verbs did you catch in our story?
Maybe you heard 5? Or maybe all 10? Let's check together. We'll explain each one with clear examples so you can use them confidently in your own conversations.
All right, let's start with our first phrasal verb, run into. This is a super common one, and it means to meet someone by chance, unexpectedly.
Exactly. For example, if you're walking down the street and you suddenly see your old teacher, you didn't plan it, you can say, I ran into my old teacher yesterday.
Right. And here's another example. I ran into Sarah at the supermarket last weekend. It simply means you met her accidentally, not on purpose.
And here's a quick note. We often use this phrase in the past tense, ran into, because we're usually telling a story about something that happened.
So listeners, can you think of a time you ran into someone unexpectedly? Try to make a sentence in your head. This is how you make new vocabulary part of your speaking.
Okay, next on our list is catch up. This phrasal verb means to talk to someone you haven't seen for a while and find out what's new in their life.
Exactly. Imagine you haven't seen your best friend for months. When you finally meet, you'll probably talk for hours and update each other on everything. That's called catching up.
For example, I met Emma yesterday and we caught up over coffee. That means we shared all the new things happening in our lives. Here's another one. Let's meet this weekend and catch up. It's a very natural phrase native speakers use all the time.
Notice that we often say catch up with someone. We add with plus the person. Like, I need to catch up with my cousin.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about meeting. It's about talking and updating each other.
So, listeners, think about someone you haven't seen for a long time. Who would you like to catch up with this week? All right, the next phrasal verb is look up. This one means to search for information about something, usually in a book, dictionary, or online.
Exactly. For example, if you don't know the meaning of a word, you can look it up in a dictionary. Like, I didn't know that word, so I looked it up online.
Right. And here's another example. I need to look up the train schedule before we travel. That means I need to search for that information.
You might also hear people say look something up. The object often goes in the middle. For example, look the address up or look up the address. Both are correct.
Good point. And one more tip. We use look up to someone with a different meaning. That means to admire or respect them. But here we're focusing on the meaning to search for information.
So, listeners, when was the last time you looked up something online? Think of a recent example, maybe a recipe, a word, or some travel info.
Next phrasal verb is come across. It usually means to find or meet something or someone by chance.
Exactly. For example, I came across an interesting article while browsing the internet.
That means you found it unexpectedly.
Right. And another common usage is when you want to describe someone's impression. For example, he comes across as very confident. This means he gives the impression of being confident.
So listeners, notice that come across can have two main uses: finding something by accident, like finding an article or a book, or giving an impression, like how someone seems to others.
Exactly. And here's a tip. In the first meaning, it's often followed by something, and in the second meaning, it's followed by as plus adjective.
So think about something you recently came across, maybe a video, a song, or a cool website. Try to make a sentence.
Okay, our next phrasal verb is take over. This means to take control of something, usually a project, task, or responsibility.
Exactly. For example, when the manager retired, John took over the project. That means John became responsible for it.
Right. Another example could be, the new CEO will take over next month. This is very common in business English.
And just to be clear, take over usually implies that someone else was in charge before, and now you're taking their place or responsibility.
So, listeners, think about a time when you had to take over a task or responsibility. Try to make a sentence using it. Next phrasal verb is set up. It usually means to arrange, organize, or prepare something.
Exactly. For example, we need to set up a meeting for next Monday. That means we have to arrange and prepare the meeting.
Right. Another example, they set up the conference room before the presentation. This means they organized everything and got it ready. You can also use it for equipment or technology. For example, I set up my new computer yesterday.
So, listeners, think of something you need to set up this week. Maybe a meeting, a study session, or even your desk. Try to make a sentence with it.
Next phrasal verb is give up. This means to stop trying to do something, usually because it's difficult or challenging.
Exactly. For example, I wanted to learn guitar, but it was so hard that I almost gave up. That means I almost stopped trying.
Right. Another example, don't give up. You can do it. This is something you might say to encourage a friend.
And remember, we often use give up for habits too. For example, I decided to give up smoking.
So listeners, think about something you've tried but almost gave up on. Now try to make a sentence using give up.
All right, the next phrasal verb is pick up. One of the most common meanings is to learn something without formal study, naturally or by experience.
Exactly. For example, I picked up some Spanish while traveling in Spain. That means I learned it informally, just by listening and speaking.
Right. Another example could be, kids pick up languages really quickly. It means they learn them easily without much effort.
And pick up can also mean to collect or take someone or something. For example, I'll pick you up at the airport tomorrow.
Good point. So the meaning depends on the context, but in our story it meant to learn something, often quickly and naturally.
So listeners, what's something new you've picked up recently? Maybe a skill, a hobby, or a few new English words.
All right, the next phrasal verb is get along. This means to have a friendly and good relationship with someone.
Exactly. For example, I get along really well with my coworkers. That means we have a good relationship and we work together without problems.
Right. And here's another example. Do you get along with your neighbors? It's a common question in small talk.
Remember, we usually say get along with someone. The with is important here.
Also, you can add words like really well or great to make it stronger. Like, we get along great.
So, listeners, think about someone you get along with. Maybe a classmate, a coworker, or a family member. Can you make a sentence?
All right, let's start with call off. This means to cancel something that was planned.
Exactly. For example, they had to call off the meeting because the manager was sick. That means they canceled it.
Another example, the concert was called off due to bad weather. Again, it means it didn't happen as planned.
Tip: we usually use call off for events, meetings, or plans that were already arranged.
So listeners, think about a time when you had to call off something, maybe a trip, a party, or a plan. Okay, listeners, now it's your turn. Try to make a sentence with at least 2 of these phrasal verbs.
Say it out loud or write it down. Practicing will help you remember and use them naturally.
Let's quickly review the 10 phrasal verbs we learned today. Run into, meet by chance.
Catch up: talk to someone to learn what's new.
Look up, search for information.
Come across: find by chance.
Take over, take control of something.
Set up: arrange or organize.
Give up, stop trying.
Pick up: learn something informally.
Get along, have a good relationship.
Call off: cancel.
Wow, that was fun. We covered 10 phrasal verbs today. I hope you found them useful and that you can start using them in your daily English conversations.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And remember, practicing these phrasal verbs is the key. Don't just listen, try using them in sentences, in your chats, or even in your diary.
Exactly. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that like button. It really helps us know you're enjoying the content.
And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes.
Absolutely. Your support means a lot, and it motivates us to make even better episodes for you.
Thanks for listening, keep practicing, and see you in the next episode.
Bye.